From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the Hourly News Blast. Advocate is reporting a Texas Republican congressional candidate who has said critics might call his views, quote, bigoted and backward and oppressive and Nazi-ish, end quote, got a high-profile boost this week from President Donald Trump and is already drawing financial backing from Peter Thiel, the out K-Tech billionaire and co-founder of Palantir Technologies. On Monday, Trump endorsed Jace Yarbrough, who is running in the Republican primary for Texas's 32nd Congressional District, calling him an American First Patriot and a brave Air Force veteran on his Truth Social platform. The district is currently represented by Congresswoman Julie Johnson, a Democrat, and the first out LGBTQ plus person elected from the South. After Republican gerrymandering efforts last year drew the electoral maps in the state, Johnson is running for re-election in the newly drawn 33rd Congressional District. Federal Election Commission records reviewed by the Advocate show that Thiel gave two $3,500 donations on December 24, 2025, to Yarbrough's campaign, one designated for the primary and one for the general election, for a combined $7,000, the maximum an individual can contribute under federal law when splitting donations that way. The contributions and Yarbrough's remarks were first reported by The Guardian, which traced the donor network now coalescing around his candidacy. Yarbrough, a lawyer and Air Force reservist, drew attention earlier this month at a February 3rd candidate forum where he said opponents might describe his platform as bigoted and backward and oppressive and Nazi-ish, adding that he was past trying to placate that in any way, shape, or form, according to a video of the event. Yarbrough has also built a public profile through litigation against the military. In a federal lawsuit he filed in 2023 against the Air Force and Space Force in the Eastern District of Texas, he argues that he was improperly disciplined for off-duty remarks he delivered at a small retirement ceremony in Hawaii in June 2021 when he was acting in a civilian capacity but wearing his formal uniform. In the complaint, Yarbrough describes giving examples of what he called objective realities, including that men can't birth babies and that boys should not be allowed in girls' locker rooms. He also said that forcing people to deny such beliefs requires constant self-deception, which can habituate us to dishonesty and cause people to lose their grip on objective reality, much like President Donald Trump, making them less capable and less effective in our world, much like Donald Trump, adding, by making the lie part of ourselves, we become incompetent. Or is that incontinent? No, that's Donald Trump. The military issued him a letter of admonishment over the anti-trans remarks, characterizing the remarks as insubordinate, disrespectful, and unbecoming of an officer in the military. A description Yarbrough disputes. The most recent action in the case occurred during last year's government shutdown when the court stayed civil cases involving the federal government due to a lapse in Justice Department funding. Thiel's contribution is modest by the standards of modern campaign finance, but large in symbolism. The billionaire investor has emerged as a central patron of right-wing ideology, using his wealth to back candidates and causes that reject what they view as consensus-driven conservatism. His earlier support for figures such as Vice President J.D. Vance helped accelerate a more populist and confrontational strain of GOP orthodoxy. Yarbrough's donor list extends beyond Thiel. It includes Thomas Klingenstein, a chair of the board of the conservative Claremont Institute, and Charles Haywood, an entrepreneur associated with far-right political networks, The Guardian reports. Together, the contributions point to a constellation of funders less interested in incremental policy than in ideological rupture. That posture is reflected in Yarbrough's platform. He has called for repealing the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, the landmark law that ended race-based immigration quotas and has argued that immigration and cultural change have eroded a shared American identity. So he's one of those whites-only bigots from the South. Got it. Not to mention homophobic, not to mention transphobic, not to mention xenophobic, well, you see where this is going. That's the news blast for this hour. If you're watching this news video on YouTube, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Don't donate to Yarbrough's campaign, though. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.